Hello everyone, and today we are doing a top 10 fighting games hidden gems. I'm doing this video with DJ Sarmaro. You guys know him as Retro Japan. Awesome channel. I'm very excited to do this. We're going to do 5 hidden gems each. Let's check it out. So I want to start off with Slap Happy Rhythm Busters. Now, Slap Happy Rhythm Busters, this game I found out by chance a few years ago, and gosh, this game is a total hidden gem, guys. Seriously, think about a fight versus fighting game mixed with a little bit of maybe a DDR. So that's how this game is. It's got actually really cool soundtrack to it, lots of cool characters to choose from, and it plays like more like a slow-paced Street Fighter game in a way, because of the way the 3D graphics are in a way. But what I really like about it is the way they implement the dancing into the game. Well, so basically, plays like any traditional verse fighting game. You have your half circle, quarter circle type moves that you could do. But to pull off a special move towards the end, you have to do a sequence of first you have to set the trigger. And once you set that and hit the opponent, then you're set with a sequence of button presses that you have to do. Now, if you get all of them right, you actually will pull off a special move, and it's just really cool how it plays out. Total hidden gem. It should have came to America, but unfortunately, the reasons why, maybe there's probably a lot of reasons why this didn't come to America. It was released late in the PlayStation's life cycle, and also music rights and all that type of stuff. But if you pick up Slap Happy Rhythm Busters and you're a fighting game fan, you definitely will not be let down. The version I have here is the regular edition. There is a greatest hits version, so maybe that version might be cheaper now. It's gone up over the last couple years. I got this game when it was $30, so I was very lucky. But anyways, guys, definitely check out Slap Happy Rhythm Busters. You will not be let down.
So the first game I'm going to talk about is a PC Engine game. I love the PC Engine, and this is Flash Hiders for the PC Engine Super CD-ROM. The PC Engine doesn't have a whole lot in the way of original fighting games, but Flash Hiders is definitely one of the best of the original fighting games that came out for the PC Engine. When you first boot the game, you're greeted by a few different modes. You've got Scenario Mode, which is basically your story mode. You've got Versus Mode, and you've got Advanced Mode. Advanced Mode is kind of like a build your own character type thing, where you fight in a tournament for money so that you can buy different attributes for your character, and in my opinion adds a pretty good amount of depth to the game. I first played a demo of this game back in 1994, and I remember thinking to myself how fast-paced the fighting action was. Especially back then, there weren't a whole lot of fighting games that had these crazy super fast super techniques. Though I suppose Art of Fighting would come to mind when I think of those super fast super moves, or Fatal Fury 2 with Kim Kapwan's like super kick thing. Supers in this game, or special moves in this game, are very similar. One thing that's highly recommended is that you have the 6-button controller to play this game, because the game is very much like Street Fighter 2, where you have 3 punches and 3 kicks, low, medium, and high. So definitely get yourself either a Hori Fighting Commander or an NEC Avenue 6 pad to enjoy the game to the fullest. And if you have an arcade card, the loading time in the game will be cut down drastically. And I mean pretty much non-existent loading times between battles, which is really nice for a CD-based game. On top of all that, Flash Hiders isn't even an expensive game. You can usually get it anywhere between $25 and $30 on eBay. Which is a pretty good price for this game in my opinion. I like it a lot. Definitely pick it up if you have a PC Engine.
Next up, we have Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star for the PS2 was actually created by Arc Systems. They made this fighting game, and if you're familiar with Arc Systems, you know about the Guilty Gear series, Blast Blue, and so on. They really put their heart into this game. I mean, seriously. I've watched the anime, and I pretty much know at least the first season in and out, and the characters in this game are so freaking cool. Now, this game, I would say the only bad thing about this game would be considered bad these days, if you wanted to play this game as a tournament game, you couldn't, because characters are OP in this game. Like, I mean, if a character is strong in the animated series, he's going to be strong in this game. And if a character is weak in the animated series and he's on this game, he's going to be weak in this game, and he's going to have a hard time against other characters. But either way, that's okay. You can figure a way around it. Game is a lot of fun. I love playing as Ken and Toki. Those are my favorite characters. Ken can even do the death touch, which gives you like 10 seconds to live in the match, which is hilarious. Just a really well put together game. I wish this game got a wider release, but unfortunately it's only in arcades and on the PS2 in Japan. But it's still pretty cheap. I think the game goes for like $40 or $50. It's definitely worth having in your collection, especially if you like the Fist of the North Star series. Definitely pick this one up.
Speaking of Arc System Works, the next game we're going to talk about is Sengoku Basara Cross for the PlayStation 2. Now, Sengoku Basara Cross is actually a spin-off of the original Sengoku Basara series. The original Basara games are a tactical action type game. They're very similar to the Dynasty Warriors games, if you've ever played any of those, or you're just killing a bunch of different people. Now, this game is a 2D action fighter that's developed by Arc System Works. So it's very similar to like Guilty Gear or the Fist of the North Star game that Reggie just showed us. So the visuals are really clean, and I really like it. It's a really crisp visual style. The gameplay is very similar to all of the other Arc System Works games, where you've got like your 3 attack buttons and you have aerial attacks and whatnot. But the one thing that this game does differently is it has something called the Engun system. So every team has assist characters. Some have 2, some have 1, and some have none, but that really just depends on how strong that character is. Sengoku Basara Cross is still fairly cheap, and it's an awesome game in my opinion. If you're a fan of fighting games, or Guilty Gear, or Blaze Blue, or any of that stuff, definitely pick up Sengoku Basara Cross for your PlayStation 2.
Alright, so Angel Eyes is a game I found out by chance. So I was looking for 2D fighting games for PS1, maybe something that I might have missed in the past, because I found out about Slap Happy Rhythm Busters and quite a few others. So Angel Eyes came up, and I looked at it, I was like, wow, man, animation is really good. This game really shows what the PS1 could really do. I mean, a lot of people had a hard time or said it was hard to make 2D animation games for the PlayStation, but if you knew the tricks around it, you could make a solid game. I mean, look at Street Fighter Alpha 3. I mean, that game looks great, and if you know what they did to put that together, you would say, wow, the PlayStation is capable of a lot of stuff. And here's a game, Angel Eyes, pretty much. Angel Eyes, from what I see, I think it's like high school girls fighting each other. It's like kind of like Arcana Heart, if you remember that game. But it's a solid game, guys. Definitely is one you want to check out. Good music, fun using characters. What I like about the characters in this one is when you're about to fight, when it says round 1 fight, the characters actually jump at each other. You could jump in the air and just do like a combination attack right when the match starts. So that's a really cool feature they added in this game. But definitely pick this one up if you have the chance.
So now that we're on the subject of all-female fighting games, let's talk about Advanced VG, a fighting game that features waitresses. That's right, waitresses. Now, Advanced VG2 or Advanced Variable GO2 is definitely a lot more well-rounded fighting game compared to its first game. If you want to find out more about that, make sure to check out my channel for the review on the first game. And I'll also have a full review of this game a little bit later. What can I say about Advanced VG2? The game might have a quirky premise with battle waitresses fighting over who gets prize money or what have you, but silly plot points aside, the game is a lot of fun to play. Much like all the other games that we talked about here, the gameplay mechanics for Advanced VG2 are pretty deep. You'll find many of the same things that you'll find in other fighting games, like supers and cancels and dashes and all of that other stuff. All of that stuff is new to this version of the game, since the first version was really bare bones. For being a 2D sprite-based fighting game on the PlayStation 1, they did a really good job with the character animations. Graphics are crisp and fluid, and the loading time isn't too terrible. Advanced VG2 is one of those games that is slowly climbing in price, so I highly suggest you go and pick it up if you want to play it before it gets too expensive.
Okay, so next Next up, we have Spectral versus Generation. And I believe this is actually two different gaming series combined into one. I'm not really sure if it was an anime or something like that. But either way, the game is fantastic. It kind of reminds me of old school SNK games, like during the middle of SNK's life cycle. Game is really solid, and it only came out in PAL in Japan territory, so a lot of people didn't really get to see this game, unfortunately. But now I'm telling you about it now. If you see this game, definitely pick it up. It's available on the PSP. And remember, the PSP is region free, so you can play it on that. If you get it on PS2, you have to get the Japanese or the PAL version, so make sure you have the means to play those. But like I said, the PSP is region free. And if you want to play on a television, you can just hook the PSP. If you have a Model 2 or 3, you can hook it up to your television and play off the television like that. It plays well. Definitely pick this game up, guys, because they don't make fighting games like they used to anymore. And this is one of the ones that I would consider a true hidden gem.
Next, we're going to talk about Astro Superstars for the Sega Saturn. Astro Superstars is an awesome aerial-based fighting game with a lot of character. Astra Superstars is an awesome 2D flight-based fighting game, or airborne fighting game. I don't know. You fly around with a bunch of characters in the air, but it's really cool. I actually did a review on this one on my channel as well, so make sure to go there and check it out. Sunsoft actually put this game together, and before that they made the awesome Waku Waku 7, and before that they made Galaxy Fight, which was not so awesome. The character design in Astro Superstars is incredibly unique, with a decent variation of characters to choose from. Personally, this is one of my favorite 2D fighting games on the Saturn, and I enjoy it a lot. One thing I do have to mention though, that this game has gone up exponentially in price, so it might be a little hard to pick up if you're wanting to play an original copy. And unlike other Sunsoft games, Astro Superstars only came out on the Sega Saturn. I highly recommend you find a way to play this game because it is awesome.
And my last game, unfortunately, this game does not have a physical release, and I've been wanting to have a physical release for a long time. It actually came out for PS3, and it came out for the PS4, an updated version, and they're working on a sequel for it. This game is called Chaos Code, and then there's Chaos Code New Sign of Catastrophe. Now, Chaos Code, man, this game is so freaking cool. I can't believe it doesn't have a physical release. So, what I read about Chaos Code, it was actually made in Taiwan, and they had been working on it for quite a few years, and they finally got it out. Just a really amazing game, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's unfortunate, but Arc Systems helped publish it, and hopefully they'll get the name out there better. But like most fighting games, guys, it's got to have a physical. Well, any game in general, you got to have a physical release to get the word out. Usually, unless the game is it just really catches the trend like Street Fighter has over the years. But either way, guys, a solid game, great 2D animations. Great soundtrack, lots of cool extras, interesting characters to play from. This game is such a throwback for me, and it's definitely probably my favorite on this list.
For my next game, we're going to go ahead and show you Melty Blood Act Cadenza for the PS2. Melty Blood originally started off as a fan-made fighting game by a small circle called French Bread. Now, the original Melty Blood featured 6 characters, and they're based on the Tsukihime series, or Moon Princess, as it would be known in English. Now, as far as the gameplay is concerned, Melty Blood has some really tight gameplay. All your normal stuff like supers and special moves and cancels. I still have trouble with the advanced aspects of the game, like shielding and the magic circuit system. It's got aerial recoveries, all the normal stuff that you would see in fighting games. One cool thing about the game is that when you pick a character, each character has 3 different fighting styles. You've got full moon, half moon, and crescent moon. And depending on what you pick, It switches things up, like how the characters use their EX shielding or their magic circuit, and then some moves vary a little bit depending on the character that you're using. The game itself has something like 20 plus characters in it, with many of them being variations of other characters, but those variations play wildly different from each other. Melty Blood Act Cadenza for the PS2 features a lot of great music, good old-fashioned 2D sprite work, which not enough games are doing nowadays, and a fighting game system that everyone can get into. I'm a big fan, and I highly recommend Melty Blood to any fan of 2D fighting games.
Alright guys, so I want to give a shout out to my buddy Saramaro for helping me do this video. Hopefully we'll do more videos like this in the future for you guys if you guys enjoyed this one. But mostly I want you guys to check out his channel. A lot of import stuff on there, lots of current gen stuff as well. It's just a real interesting channel for you guys to find out more information about certain games. Some of you may not know this, but DJ is actually the creator of FX Unit Yuki, a game I'll be doing a review on pretty soon, so pretty excited for that. I will leave a link in the description to his channel, so be sure to check it out. And that's all I have for you guys. Radical Reggie and Saramaro, and we will see you guys later.